Can we get in brightest day and blackest night from you? Just that statement as Optimus Prime.
In brightest day and blackest night.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. How has your day been so far, sir?
Well, I'm at a 3-hour disadvantage because we came from California and it was raining when I arrived, and it felt like I was in Canada.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Well, I'm from Canada.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a little bit like home. That's what he said.
The smells and the moisture, the trees, seeing the birds' nests in the trees, and it reminded me of home.
Yes.
But that 3-hour difference just throws everything out of whack.
It's a little rough. It is a little rough. I totally understand. Did y'all hear that, Columbus? We are like home to Optimus Prime. Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that. I will not waste much of your time. You guys are in line already. But I do know that it is so important for us to understand the weight and gravity of the story behind Optimus Prime's voice and where that came from in your life. For those of you that have never heard this story before, your life is about to change. It is everything that you need to hear about love, looking up to someone, having an idol that we all connect to, and finding out who that idol's idol was, okay? So, sir, if you don't mind, please tell us the story about your brother and his impact.
My brother was a Marine and in Vietnam. He was a second lieutenant, and he was in a lot of skirmishes, pretty heavy, lost lives, and he received a Bronze Star.
Yes, indeed. Make some noise for that one time.
And
yes.
Yeah. And when he came back, years later, we were sharing an apartment in Burbank, California, and I was going to a lot of auditions, and we only had the one car. And back in 1984, I said, Larry, I'm going to need the car. And he said, Peter, where are you going? Another audition? And I said, yeah, that's another. What is it this time, Pete? He said, I'm going to be a truck. You're going to be a truck, Pete? He said, what does a truck sound like? I said, well, I don't know a lot about it, but I hear he's a hero truck. And his voice just changed. He said, well, Peter, if you're going to be a hero, be a real hero. Don't be one of those Hollywood types, pretending to be tough and all that stuff, yelling and screaming. And he said, be strong enough to be gentle. Mm. And that hit me. And it's the way he said it. He said, be strong enough to be gentle. Don't go screaming and yelling and pretending. I said, it just hung with me. And so while I was driving to the audition, I just kept thinking of that. And I said, be strong enough to be gentle. I read the script that I was to read, and I saw the transformation outlay of what this truck would turn into, and it was this figure that we all have become accustomed to. And when he stood there, and I looked at the sketch, I stood there, and then I read it. It says, my name is Optimus Prime from the planet Cybertron. And it could very easily have been, my name is Larry Cullen, K Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, But it just happened to be coming out like Larry, And that whole phrase, be strong enough to be gentle, I applied that. It was hard to apply it in the first script that we did. Oh, by the way, we just finished in Burbank. On last Tuesday, we did the very first episode with the original cast. And we did it at a table, with all of us sitting around it. And they filmed it with about 4 cameras, and we had a ball. I mean, we just laughed our butts off. I mean, it was
Cannot
so much
wait
fun.
for that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
And it was done by Hasbro, and they did it. And I don't know when the release is, or if it's going internet or whatever, but you're going to enjoy it because we had a ball.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love the story that your brother, your big brother, impacted so much of your.
13 months older. Yeah.
Hey, I know he held on to that too.
And he was 5 inches taller. He was my hero. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Because Optimus Prime feels like a big brother to all of us. And it comes across in your performance, and it's absolutely beautiful and wonderful.
I did my job right.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Absolutely. Right? He did his job right? Okay, I'm just making sure it wasn't just me. Come on now. Before we throw the questions to you guys, when it came to acting, specifically using your voice as your vehicle for doing so, when did you find out that you had this sweet timbre that people would just listen to and resonate with?
Well, I was talking one day, and I don't know.
Peter's got jokes, y'all. Y'all don't understand. He's the greatest dude in the world. Absolutely amazing.
I don't remember. I studied acting in Canada, and we had a voice teacher. He was a Frenchman by the name of Bernard Diamant, and he was an opera coach to some of the biggest names in opera. And he taught us how to. Well, he told me a story about Laurence Olivier doing Othello. And he said that he had worked with a coach to drop his voice almost an octave by using resonance, the vocal cavities in your head, the top of your head, the chest, all the areas where sound can be energized, and the use of your stomach, the abdomen, to push the air.
Right.
And it's like you were an instrument. So, and we, for 3 years, we had this man. And I discovered that I could gain the vibrations out of my chest. And by using that cavity,
Right.
and resonate it. And so it took a while, but it's not my natural voice.
Got you.
You know, I don't think I could hack it all day long. My name is Optimus Prime. You know, that's hard to get to sometimes.
Still brilliant. Still brilliant.
I love you guys.
Listen. As you said, 1980, you know it. You already know. As you said, 1984, you helped bring this character to life in a way that impacted all of us. And next year, we get to celebrate 40 years of that. Yeah, that's right. And you haven't lost a step with grabbing that character, bringing him to life, and making us all feel it. It is something so magical and so wonderful. And to say true thanks to you, I'm going to give it to our friends here in the line to get to ask you all the questions that they've ever wanted to ask. One at a time, though. Nothing crazy. No asking for specific shout-outs, okay? Don't do that. But let's have your chance with Mr. Peter Cullen.
Is this on? Okay.
Absolutely.
I just want to start with Mr. Cullen. It is an honor to be talking to you today. My question more so isn't just about the character of Optimus Prime because he is my personal hero. It's more so about your acting in general. So a lot of Transformer fans here might have watched a little show called Invincible.
Hey,
And
big shout out to Invincible.
yeah, they may have heard you play Thetis. And this is a statement leading into my question. I think it is such a testament to your acting skill that I've always loved the story about your older brother, Larry. And what I love with Thetis' voice is, sure, it sounds a little like Prime, but you can hear that it's not the same inflections as Prime. And I think that is such a testament to how much Larry had that impact in Prime as a character, that is uniquely Prime's cadence and it's not used for other characters. But my question is, Thetis is just Invincible as a show was something I never thought I'd have like the pleasure to see you on. So I'm curious on how you got like whether you approached them or you were approached by the role, or how you got the voice for Thetis, or just how everything came together with that.
That's a great question. So yeah, how did you get approached to do Invincible? Does it have a lot to do with the connection of Hasbro and Skybound, the publishing imprint for Invincible, or is Robert Kirkman just that big of a fan of yours, as he well should be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. If I never ask a question like that, you
Okay.
know. I've done so many shows, and I don't think I've ever asked that question once. You know, how did this come about? Do I know you? Did we work before? Or how did you find out? No, you know, I never go there. So I'm just grateful that I, you know, been asked. But that's a weird question, and I don't know if I can help you on that. But
Well, I think it's
I'm really very upset now.
I wanted a deep, complex answer about how Robert Kirkman is your best friend.
You know what? Listen, I honestly think that that's part of it is Kirkman being such a fan. And you know, like Skybound now has the Transformers.
Oh, dude, they are so good.
So good, right?
Yes.
Are y'all reading that? Okay, I was
Pick it
gonna say
up,
there's a
it's a great
comic shop
read.
downstairs. Get to it. What are we doing? But Robert Kirkman, you know, as prolific as he's been in all these other projects, having his ear to the culture would have to know how important you would be to this project. So I think he definitely is the reason why we are graced with your greatness as Thetis.
Well, I'm very grateful for you guys. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm just glad to be working, you know.
Yay!
Yeah.
We're glad you're working. That's what that is.
Every time your name's on something, I always check it out, man.
Every time. Thank you. Hello.
So first, I just want to say thank you for coming out here. It means a lot to me because I'm just, as everybody here is a big fan.
Absolutely.
So my question's kind of more of an oddball question, but do you remember Toonami from the early 2000s?
For the Cartoon Network series, Toonami?
No, like there would just be like dubbing old anime back then.
Oh.
And I remember seeing an ad that Peter Cullen voiced over for Gundam Seed.
Do you remember doing an anime series, Gundam Seed? Would have been a voiceover.
He
or
just did the promo ad.
Oh, just the promo
Just the
for
voiceover.
it.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
vaguely.
Okay.
I probably would have asked, how do you pronounce this?
The first line starts with the main character's name, Kira Yamato.
Curiata?
Kira Yamato.
Oh, yeah, see, I would mess that up. Absolutely. Absolutely. See, here's the question really is, with all the different voice acting pieces that you've done, whether they are shows or commercials, like, do you have any idea how many credits you have under your name?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea.
So you were pulling in from like the deep dives, which is extra cool. That means you're a super fan. So I'm gonna give you a round of applause right now. Make that happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. We need to get like a master cut of all of Peter's greatest hits, like just everything. Hello, friend.
Hi. Well, my question is actually about the difference between Optimus's voice now between when you started. Like, I remember watching the show when I was a kid on Netflix, the original show, and then seeing Optimus in the movie and just noticing the difference. Like now it's like a lot deeper and a lot serious. Like, you basically mastered the voice, but back then it was like a lot lighter, a lot more casual. Like, you could just play around a basketball with him like they did in that show. So I was wondering, like, how did the Optimus voice evolve over time like that?
That's a great question. Yeah, how do
It
you?
is, and I think Michael Bay was responsible for engineering the depth and the size. The size of the Optimus Prime is virtually the reason for getting deeper. And when I'm working with another actor, only on a couple occasions, and I think it was on one occasion where they had Optimus Prime up on a scaffold, and the actor was looking up, and I was reading the lines right beside the actor. And the whole relationship was up there. So I had to sound normal. There'd be no yelling. She wasn't yelling, and I wasn't yelling. This was hard to do at the time, to make it reasonable, you know, and understanding. So in the depth of the voice, I would say, "You lied," you know. And she said, "Well, I had a reason to," or whatever, you know. And I said, and that depth, that real baritone, it came out, but not in a yelling form. And it had to translate as a conversation. So in the movies, that depth was really had to work on. We had to work on that. The difference between that and in a fight scene and or a command, you know. So in the commands, it was a lot easier to go back to Transformers Generation 1. Autobots, transform and roll out. You know, he would be.
I have to remember I'm a professional up here and I'm geeking out like everybody else does. I'm so sorry.
No shame in loving your job.
Thank you.
I love my job. I do.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Great question, though. Absolutely great question. And I love the craftsmanship that you have of understanding how to use your voice in the different acting spaces that you've exhibited. It's fantastic. Hello, friend. How we doing?
Doing pretty good today. God, I feel so short. So I've been wondering, like, a question that has been going on in my mind for at least 3 years by now.
That's like half your life.
How it feels to be a voice actor of so many shows for like over 40 years.
That's amazing. That's a great question.
Well, somebody told me, if you do something in your life that you love and you get paid for it, you'll never work a day for the rest of your life because it's just fun. It's not work. And I'm one of those guys that just got lucky. I followed my dream. And I think it was my mom that put it into my mind. Not my dad. My dad was very practical, and he said, "I want to give you some advice, son." He said, "You know, I did some research, and I found that the average salary for an actor is under $5,000 a year." Well, that was incredible. But my mom said she graduated from the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City when she was a kid, and she never pursued her dream. And she was a good actress. She was a comedian. And she told me, he said, there is a school that's going to take 15 students from across the country, English, and 15 French. And they're auditioning. You should go and audition. And so I researched it, I looked at it, and they wanted to hear a Shakespearean soliloquy, they wanted to see an improvisation. In my case, it was walking a big, big dog in a park. And that got interested in a little dog. And just no words, just physical. And then I think there was something else I had to do. Then something of my choice. And so I did Rudyard Kipling's Gunga Din with a British accent, a Cockney accent. And her words were, if you get accepted, that's a thermometer, pretty good idea that you have the qualities to do as a profession. So I was accepted into that school, and it was a 3-year course, the National Theatre School of Canada. And that's a long time ago. That was 1959. And it was a 3-year course, and 2 months of that year were done in Stratford, Ontario at the Shakespearean Festival. So it was a huge introduction to theater and acting. And I did the serious acting for years until one day I was introduced to CBC Radio, Canadian Broadcasting Company in Montreal, and there was a director by the name of Rupert Kaplan, and they were doing dramatic series, and I was cast as the prosecutor in a very heavy drama. And it's the first real time that I used my voice as a character.
I was more like this, and I was sinister. What did you mean by that?
You know, it was very Transformers.
Amazing.
You know, so anyway, and that's what perked my interest, and I was called back to the CBC for years and years until I finally came to California. But the reason I'm saying that is I left stage acting to become a voice actor because I had a range and I loved doing it. And the people I work with, usually it's just the most fun that I ever had. And acting on stage and in films and on television is a lot harder. It's not as fun. I didn't find it that much fun. It's more serious, but behind the microphone, you can really crack up. You know, I mean, you can really get away with a lot of stuff. Once that mic's off, boy, we have a ball. I mean, Frank Welker is just insane. He
Make some noise, y'all. I love that. I love that.
He's my God, you know. I look at him, I say, this guy is the king. I mean, I call him le roi in French. Roi, the king.
I love that.
Oh, the king. And we have so much fun together. We just finished work, as I told you, on Tuesday, and it was hysterical. It was hysterical. Michael Bell, oh, gee.
We can't wait to hear this. This is going to be amazing. I think ultimately his longevity in career can be a dedicated love letter to Mrs. Cullen, his mom, because she believed in him, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Great question.
Hi, my name's Pat. What would Optimus Prime sound with a French-Canadian accent? No, that's not my real question.
If Optimus Prime had
No, that's not my real question.
I was gonna see if he was gonna do it.
You were born in the 40s, which is like the golden age of radio.
Mm-hmm.
So what influence did radio have on your formulation of understanding sound and voice acting?
Great question.
It is. I was really lucky. But I listened to radio long before television even came. And we were very late in getting a TV. My parents didn't really even know what a TV was. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sure they can, Peter. Oh, you're talking to myself now. I had a radio by my bed, and I used to listen to it all the time. We had wonderful radio shows. I was a communist for the FBI, Boston Blackie, Amos and Andy, you name it. There were comedies. Even in the morning, you wake up, it was the Breakfast Club from Chicago. And, you know, it's just, and I heard all these voices. And so I was so conscious of that as a person and growing up. The idea that I could be in the profession didn't happen until years later, but I was in awe. People in radio were celebrities, you know, the huge celebrities. My aunt and uncle were on, my grandfather was on WOR in New York City. He was one of the first people in radio. And his son, Alfred McCann Jr., took over from him with his wife called the McCanns at Home. And they broadcasted for close to 50 years on top of what my grandfather had done. And so when I would come down from Montreal, I would visit, and they would be at home, big table with these wonderful microphones, and they'd say, "And now my young nephew from Montreal is in the room, and come over here, Peter. We want to say hello to the people. You know, hi, Adora. Oh, hi. How are you? Oh, sit down. And I'd see this microphone, and I would be scared to death of it. You know, they'd say, "Now, Peter, I'd like you to read this next advertisement we have here for the Red Cross up there." So he said, so I looked at the script, and it said, "On 70 Street."
This is amazing. So this is like a whole family affair right here.
And I was shaking, you know. And on 70 Street, the Red Cross will have the thing. And then on the next weekend, it'll be on 154 Avenue.
Now, before you finish the story, I got to know, were you paid for this work early on?
No.
Oh, wow. Wow. Family getting favors.
I was
I
just
see.
visiting. And the first thing I would say to them was, "Long time no see."
We got to find a recording of this. This would be amazing. I think the next show that we're at, we're going to try to see if we can find a recording of this and present that to you. That would be fantastic. What do y'all think? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do a Peter Cullen, this is your voice. That's what,
Wow.
I love it. I love it. Hello, friend.
Hi there. Hello, Mr. Cullen.
Hi.
My question for you, there's been so many different versions of Transformers over the years, my personal favorite being Transformers Prime for 2010.
Prime is great. Big love for Prime.
My question is there a certain version of Optimus that's always been your favorite? And if so, why was that?
Ooh, your favorite version of Optimus Prime. Do you have a favorite?
Well, I like doing Eeyore.
Now that's a Prime, people. That's what I'm talking about.
And I'll be honest with you. Eeyore is so much easier to do. You know, "Hello, thanks for noticing me. Not that anybody cares, mind you." And Eeyore doesn't have any fight scenes. Because a lot of the characters that I do, some of them really. I did King Kong, and you probably have heard that story from somebody else. Excuse me. But I did King Kong. I did 11 reels of King Kong and Mrs. Kong and Baby Kong. You know, whatever the Kong they wanted, I gave them Kong. So, but I was coughing up blood after doing that. It was really a grind on the throat.
Of course.
Not to be poetic, but it was. And when the when the Predator came out, they wanted me to do a monster. You know, Frank Welker, you know, all of us that do special sounds, we were called in, and they said, "Well, we want to hear your sounds and stuff like this for this character." I said, "What does it look like?" He said, "We can't tell. I mean, it's secret." I said, "Well, how can I create something if I don't know what it looks like?" And finally, the guy said, "Okay," and they showed me what it looked like, this Predator, and I went, "Wow!" It reminded me of an upside-down crab.
That's about right.
On the beach, you know, with bubbles coming out, and they went, you know. So I said, "Well, this is."
Come on, y'all.
I said, "I can save my voice from doing monsters and stuff like this by just saying, you know, I saw the Predator, and it looked like that upside-down horseshoe crab, and." And then the streak would come through the sky, and I'd go. And the director couldn't hear me. He's behind me, sitting in a chair. I'm in the studio, about this size, and the microphone was way, way up there. And I said, "Could you bring that mic down?" And so they brought it down about 5 feet. And I know what a microphone is, you know. I need it right here, for that sound. So they rolled the screen, and the streak went by, and I went, and he couldn't hear me, and he's getting real PO'd. And he's, all right, that's enough, and that's enough. And the voice from up in the booth, way up, said, you ought to come up here and hear this. He said, what? Oh, yeah, you got to come up here and hear this. So he went up all the way up the staircase in the back into the room, came down about 3 minutes later, and he's skipping.
Just as happy.
All right. Yeah, okay. We're going to go from there. Okay, let's do that. That's good. So that's how that came about. And I saved my throat. And the reason I'm saying all this is because a lot of the fight scenes in Transformers really take a lot out of you. I mean, you do it over and over and over, and by the end of the session, I do 2-hour sessions and I always save the worst for the last,
Right.
Trying to get all the good stuff at the beginning. And, and I say, can you guys, put those sounds, the screams and the grunts and the owls and and all that stuff. Can you put it like on a tape?
Right.
So, because a grunt is a grunt, for God's sake.
A Peter Cullen grunt, though. Like, that's different. That's different. So there you go. There's your answer. His favorite Prime, Eeyore and Predator. There you go. You can't go wrong with that. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, how are you all doing?
Thank you.
Doing well.
So my question is kind of piggyback off of his. In all the years you've been doing this, do you have a favorite moment that you did as Optimus Prime?
Ooh, favorite Optimus Prime moment.
This is hard. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm doing that too.
While you think, what is your favorite Optimus Prime moment?
I would probably say it's the episode where, I forget the character's name, it's from the G1 cartoon. He's in the wheelchair.
Okay.
And Optimus says, hold on to your dreams. That's what the future is built on.
Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one.
There's a huge story behind this. There was a young boy, Cowley, and he was in a hospital back east, somewhere on the East Coast, with cancer, and he was a fan of Optimus Prime, and he sent me the quote of "Hold on to your dreams, the future is built on dreams." And he did a needlepoint of Optimus Prime, and he died before he finished it. Wow. And in the hospital, all his friends got together and they finished it for him. And he had asked if they would give that needlepoint to me. And I received it, and I never forgot it. And in the stitching at the bottom was his quote, "Hold on to your dreams. The future is built on dreams." And it rang with me. Yeah. And to this day, that is probably the most important line that I've ever read in my life. And oddly, I couldn't think of the sequence. I was thinking more of a sequence, not of a line. But that line is significant. And I think the other one that resounds is "Till all are one."
Yes, yes, yes. Peter, you will make me cry up here. This is it right here. This whole front row just sobbing. I love it. I love it.
Thank you,
I
sir.
swear.
And I have to admit, another line that sticks out in my head is you're fighting the Decepticons and you go, "Look at that, a booby trap that actually catches boobies."
Second best line. Absolutely. I'm with it. Hello, friend. How we doing?
Hello, my name's Ryan, and Mr. Cullen, I read recently that you've been currently given the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Well, make
Congratulations.
some noise for that.
Was
Yes. That's right. That's right. That's right.
With that being said, sir, my question is this. When in your career of voicing Optimus did you start to realize, you know, Optimus wasn't your run-of-the-mill character. There was something special about Optimus. Optimus was a leader, an inspiration, and to a lot of us, sir, a father that we grew up with. So when did he become that special to you?
Well, quite frankly, you know, when I did the 1986 movie and I had to do a death scene, I said, well, this is part, you know. I never knew that the character had maintained such a following, number one. We never received any fan mail. I've told this story so many times. And we had no thermometer. I use that word every now and then. We had nothing to gauge it on until the internet came by. So, you know, they throw the fan mail out, but you can't throw the internet out.
That's right.
And that became quite a moment of realization. And then, of course, you know, to do the first movie with Michael Bay, that was the response I found out about. And I have been conditioned because I didn't know very much about the internet and prior to that. But I did know there was a following. And I was told by Michael Bay, says, you know, you got quite a following there, you know. And I had to audition for Optimus Prime, you know, for the movie for Michael.
Wait, what?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael's going to get a talking to after this.
Oh, he's good. He was good. What do you think? Anyway. But I did make that comment up many years ago that I was grateful to you for getting Optimus Prime. And I still am. I mean, actually, it's gone from gratefulness to love because I just love you people. And that's from the heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. This is a childhood dream to be able to ask you a question and talk. We are going to take a little bit of a deep dive because you worked with Frank Welker on one of my other favorite cartoons besides Transformers was Mighty Man and Yuck.
Hey, big shout out to Mighty Man. Yeah.
I was just always curious, was that you or is that just having fun? Whenever Mighty Man would do something, he would do that boo 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 before he would attack or do any of his action scenes. Right there on YouTube, I got it. Let's see.
Do you have a audio?
It's on YouTube,
that sound effect.
the old cartoons.
Yeah.
Let's see if it gets out.
Oh, Lordy, Lordy.
Let's see if it does it. Hang on, let me get to the front here, sorry.
It's all right, that's all right.
But yeah, I didn't know if that was like something you did, just, you know, having fun with Frank, and like, hey, let's just get this, because it was actually during the Plastic Man hour.
Oh,
in the
boy,
cartoon.
I don't know. That was the first show I ever did, was Mighty Man and Yuck.
Wow.
And that was with Frank Welker. And that's when our friendship began, way back then. I don't even know what year it was. But that was all kind of like Bing Crosby.
Wow. Yes.
The only thing I didn't do was sing White Christmas. But and then, well, you probably don't know what this gentleman is talking about, but Mighty Man and Yuck. Yuck was a dog that was so ugly it had to have its doghouse over its head. And if he took its head, the doghouse off, mayhem would happen. And I would have to turn into Mighty Man. This little miniature.
You'd shrink. Yep, and get powerful.
From Bing Crosby down to, forget it. I won't go there. And I don't think it lasted more than a season, I don't think.
That's a good deep dive, though. That's a good one. Yeah, but did you make that sound effect, or was that Frank doing that?
It's Probably Frank. Probably Frank.
We'll blame Frank. Yeah.
I just remember me and my brothers would be like, Mighty Man's on, and we would rush home, to make sure that we watched it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's motivation. That's
It
motivation.
is.
How many of you ran home to make sure that you caught something that Peter was in?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
So much that when you do the bicycle off
right?
of school, you're doing one of these.
that's the
Going
hardcore.
back.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. That's what I'm talking about.
exactly. I just want to say thank you, and
That's
it was
amazing.
awesome to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. Hello.
Hi there. Again, real honor. Never thought I'd get this chance. But two-parter, again, congratulations on the Lifetime Achievement.
That's right. That's right. One more time. Make some noise for that. Yes.
And kind of bouncing off his, is there a specific favorite moment you had with Frank Welker?
Ooh, favorite Frank moment that you can tell us about.
He talks about this all the time, but he would always wait for me to take a drink of water. And then he would do something that would make me convulse, and I go, and then have the water come out my nose. And he always felt that he was a great success at getting me if he could get the water out my nose. And I fall for it all the time, because I'll tell you what, this man is a genius, a sound genius. He can make sounds and noises that you believe are happening for real. I mean, and I get caught all the time, and he'll do it purposely. He could do the sound, he could do an air conditioning leak from 50 feet away, standing next to you, and excuse me, I think we're gonna have to retake that. Aren't you guys picking up that sound? He said, what, Booth would say, what sound is that, Peter? Well, it's like an air, it's like kind of, and oh, welcome. All right, can we move on now? Let's do take two. Okay.
Frank's a true Decepticon. That's what that is right there. Yep.
What do you expect from Soundwave?
There it is. There it is. That's
Again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm sure you hear it a lot, but gotta mention you're a hero of mine. It's an honor to meet you. But you already discussed a bit about finding the voice for the movie, but my question was, for each iteration, do you go into it looking into what's different about this version and finding a new voice, or does it just kind of begin to adapt itself as you read more of the scripts and you get more familiar with this take on Prime?
Generation one?
Just for each one, so like the differences between when you go to Prime or go to the movies or go to any other time you do it, or the games or anything, just a little different.
If I'm understanding you, I think Prime is who he is by what he says. Mm-hmm. And if there are moments of intimacy with a character, a moment where he's showing passion, or compassion, his voice will adapt to those words, whatever words are written, and especially in a relationship with, say, like Ratchet, the Doc, where things will be always a little more mellow and an opportunity to show his side, the gentler side, that part of Prime which I like doing because it accomplishes so much more. I think in terms of other shows, other series, other, action stuff is, the Transformers is very unique in so many ways. It's not just a toy, it becomes a character and it can be transformed. It's not a toy that you push through the, and then kick off to the side. You can make a human being out of it, or a Cybertronian out of it.
Right. So
that is always, a sense of giving you more of a range of emotions that you wouldn't normally apply to just a regular action series. But so where am I going with this?
No, you're making a great point. Like, it's not about necessarily the project, but the moments within the projects that bring out the difference of what Optimus does, like what he says. And I think there's something powerful to that, because as a storyteller, you create the same arc of Optimus is always Optimus, but there are moments where if he's experiencing this thing, like when you lied, like we'd never really heard Optimus disappointed like that before. So it hit very like deeply when you're like, Optimus is disappointed in me. Oh my, like that's the thing that you hit very, very well.
You put that in so much better than I could.
Come on now.
I'm so glad. Thank you.
I just died. Thank you.
No, really, I mean it.
Great question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you.
I think you guys are, you went around the back and you all got together and say, okay, let's come up with a question that really screws his brain. Come on, let's get something. What do
We
you
just
Yeah,
celebrated
I got one. Yeah, what is it? What is it?
Well, I hope I don't screw your brain up too much.
There we go.
I just want to say that you've done an amazing job portraying a character that's been an inspiration for like generations of people here, like all
That's
sorts
right.
of age groups. How much longer would you like to keep portraying Optimus Prime?
Forever.
Forever's a good answer.
Yeah, forever
Forever's
is the answer.
acceptable.
Please, it doesn't matter what you're saying right now. Forever is the answer.
Yeah. As long as I can.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That works for me.
Pretty please and thank you.
I thank you. Yeah.
Now, we're under 5 minutes, so there's going to be folks that we're not going to get to in terms of the line. However, don't get out of line. What I'm going to ask for you to do is once we run out of time, we're going to bring you up to the stage here, and you guys get front row in the selfie that we're going to take. Is that cool? Awesome. Awesome. Go for it.
Well, I hope my whole entire thing is going to be quick.
Got you.
There is a story behind my whole entire ordeal why I'm up here on the mic. A couple of years ago, about a decade and a half ago, there was a comic book series of the Avengers versus the Transformers, where the Autobots had to team up with the Avengers to defeat superpowered Decepticons. And about 2 years after that issue came out, there was a poster of what if DC Comics had combined forces with the Transformers. And there's an image that burned in my mind of Optimus Prime wielding the Green Lantern ring and leading the charge of the Green Lantern Corps.
Okay.
My question is, can you read the Green Lantern oath for us and say in the Optimus Prime voice?
Okay. So that is a level of awesome that this room could not handle. And this is the thing. For something like that, that would be like a kind of a personal request that we would ask you to do down at the booth. But literally, my head would explode if he did that. So I'm gonna need, because I got panels to do later, so I can't die today.
That's why I'm asking if I needed to go to the autograph booth with
Yeah,
my dad.
definitely go to the autograph booth, record that, send it to me so I can die at home. That would be amazing. But so the Green Lantern oath. Are you familiar with the Green Lanterns?
A little bit.
Okay, so their oath, for those of you that don't know, recharges their rings, and there are some very Optimus Primian sort of language in there. So that's a really good pull.
Yeah, I actually wrote it down in line, trying to make sure that I had the whole entire oath written down
I
just
tell you
in
what,
case.
let's see if we can just get a little. Can we get in brightest day and blackest night from you? Just that statement. In brightest day and blackest night as Optimus Prime.
In brightest day and blackest night.
I'm done.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
And my dad will go complete apeshit, pardon the French, because he's in line right now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So thank you so much.
I got you. Yes, I'm a nerd. I knew the oath, okay? Yeah, y'all. Facts. Hello.
It is a pleasure to meet you guys, and I have a question. What was the most challenging series or scene that you have ever voice acted?
That's a great question. Most challenging series or scene that you had to do outside of the Kong stuff, right? Because I mean, that's rough.
Yeah.
So challenge.
Well, I think the death scene from the movie.
Yep. Yep.
In 1986.
Okay, here come the tears.
That was the toughest. It surely took me by surprise. You know, I said, my inner brain said, "Oh, Pete, if you're gonna die, you might as well do it good. Go for it.
Oh my goodness.
So that was a tough one to do, and you know, there were a lot of moments in my career, but that was probably the toughest. Yeah,
absolutely.
I had to say goodbye to a lot of friends, you know.
That was one of the most powerful moments that I think many of us grew up immediately upon experiencing that one in the film. And you changed us on so many different levels. We understood that life wasn't always sweet. And you treated death with such gravitas that even as children, we understood it. And that's powerful. That's truly, truly powerful. No, I mean it. I mean it. GalaxyCon, do me a favor and make some noise for Mr. Peter Cullen, please.